This episode of Reppin' the State Line podcast with John, George, and Josh is sponsored by The Mortgage Dad. Working with George's team gives you access to an unmatched menu of mortgage programs and over 100 years of combined mortgage experience. Skip the stress, love your mortgage experience, and get home with George. Visit www.homewithgeorge.com. NMLS ID 443967.
We are back for a brand new year and season.
In format.
I feel like it's been way too long since we have all sat around this table and even had any conversations.
Agreed. It's been a while. Welcome, gents.
Too long.
Welcome, gents. Welcome back. It's great, absolutely great to be back. I miss these conversations.
You know what's crazy is I was on a call right before I came here with my camp job, right? And it was every 3 months we kind of do like a check-in, how you feeling, like mental health conversation, right? And he proposed the question of, what do you do for self-care? And I had this whole response, and it just dawned on me that this right here for me is part of my self-care.
1,000%. I've said that before.
And I absolutely just now realized that I needed it. Right? Just
spending
so
an hour
That's why you missed it so much.
Just so much going on in my life, right? At this present moment that I really need it. So thanks, guys. I really do appreciate it.
Anytime, Josh.
Oh, John, he's got a word in. Congrats.
I do. Well, it's hard. It's hard with Josh sometimes. He just starts going. It's like, I'm just going to let him just ramble for a little bit. He's got a lot of pent up energy since we haven't been around for 10, 12 weeks now.
Yeah. It's been a long 10, 12 weeks, to say the least. You got the winter blues going on, So it's 50 degrees today. There's sun out. We feel a little spring in the air,
Yeah, but I'm guarantee you it's going to be cold by the end of the week again.
Don't say that.
I'm just saying. it just, every time you think it's time,
It hits us again.
it hits us again. So I'm not ready to buy it that it's springtime yet. But it was nice to not have to wear a coat out to the grocery store yesterday.
There
for
you
sure.
go. Well, people listening, if you're watching right now, you're seeing that there's a fourth person sitting here in studio. But if you're listening, you keep saying, who has that amazing voice? Because we know it's not John. So, Josh, would you like to introduce our guest today?
I'll let you do the honors since you haven't been really talking.
Oh, okay.
And you want to get it right.
Well, I do want to get it right, and I'm going to screw it up.
He was practicing my name. It's okay.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Reppin' the State Line is proud for our first episode of Season 7 to have a conversation with Melissa Santillan.
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 See, I told you I messed it up.
Santillan. We got it. Santillan.
Yeah.
So Melissa, if you don't know who Melissa is, which I find it very hard to believe because when I started researching you, I was like, wait, we know all the same people. I see you everywhere. Licensed barber, stylist. She's an educator. She's a podcast host. She has an apparel line.
I know.
I want to talk about that. You're a board member for the RAAC. And for 2024, I thought this was amazing. The Ethnic Heritage Museum's Latina Leader of the Year.
Yes, I am.
That is
So congratulations.
awesome.
Thank you for taking time out to sit with our humble little group.
Yeah, for sure.
I had an amazing year. 2024 was definitely what people will claim to be your year, but I have so much more to do. I have a lot going on this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
Well, first off, besides my day job, I met Josh there. He gets his hair cut with Elena. So
A lot.
We see you in there at least every other week.
It's every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Sometimes every 2.
'Cause you bring Mason in too. Yeah.
Depending on the situation. Like if I have an event going on, I have to get a haircut. I'll go every 2 weeks. Every week, I don't really care. Right. Self-care. Right. Self-care.
Yeah.
Hey, don't be ashamed. I have a sitting haircut appointment every 3 weeks, and now I have a pedicure appointment every 6 weeks. Oh, it's on the schedule.
Look at you.
I just go self-care. Yes.
But yes, we met at your day job.
My day job.
And it really happened when my son.
Where is this day job?
At 420 East State Street. It's right across from City Hall, next to Wired Cafe.
Ooh, that's a good plug.
Gotta give them a plug.
That's a good plug. Yeah.
Wired, that place is awesome. I love going in there for coffee. The food is good.
Exquisite.
Exquisite. It's definitely exquisite. Yeah, Wired is it's a vibe. It's a community space.
Yes.
So not only do you get your coffee there, you can get some breakfast. You never know who you're gonna run into. You could run into the mayor. You could run into lawyers. You run into community leaders. You run into people who do music, other podcast hosts. Like I run into somebody that I know every day at Wired when I'm working. Of course, I make an appearance in there and say hello to my friends.
Hey, what's up with the low key cycle?
The cycling
that just started next door to Wired.
Yeah, it's right. It's literally like
That
right
used to be
next door.
Elena's old space.
It did. That's where the parlor was, right?
Yes, the parlor, and
Yeah.
then it was it the Bubble Hive? Was that there for a hot minute?
It was the Bubble Hive, and I believe so.
But it's like a cycling workout place. You
It
know, like
is.
those
It's
crazy people that like they're going up,
soldier
down, up,
cycling.
down, up, down. They're dancing on the
Yes.
on the
They're
stationary
all like
bikes.
the Pelotons.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, Soldier Cycling is belongs to Teresa McDermott. So she is the new tenant inside there. I actually have done Teresa's hair a few times. It's a small world. You meet a lot of people when you work behind the chair. And
Yeah.
honestly,
seriously.
my day job gives me a lot of my self-care because you've been there when we had full-blown barbershop conversations.
It's so funny because no one remembers who was in the chair listening to the barbershop conversation until I walk in. They're like, it was Josh.
It's always you.
It's always Josh in the chair when we have these barbershop conversations. Every time.
You're there a lot of the times because we'll bring it up. Who was here with us? And you're like, yeah, that was me.
That was me.
It's awesome though.
It's no holds barred in there though. We kind of talk about everything.
It's a safe place.
Well,
It
that's
is.
what the barbershop is supposed to be.
100%.
Right? You're supposed to be able to go in, like barbershops are community centers. It's a community
They are.
gathering place, and that's where you go and you talk about where you live. You talk about events going on. You talk about politics. You talk about, socioeconomic policies. Like you solve all the problems of the world, but the people that should be solving the problems aren't sitting there going, "Yeah, that makes sense. That's the only problem." So,
Nowadays, a lot's going on in the world, and I try to keep politics out of it just because, all money is green, no matter if you're red, blue, or
Exactly.
independent. So we,
100%.
of course, don't want to offend anyone coming into our shop.
No,
so,
of course not.
Yeah, so we try to keep like religion, politics on the low, but everything else is
Fair game.
all
But
fair
you guys have really, I want to say, perfected the dynamic of the shop to include all walks of races and all ages.
Yes.
You probably don't know this. They have a kids section
We do.
at the shop
Yeah.
for the little kids that come with their parents to get their haircut.
So that is called our Ready to Learn space that is provided from Alignment Rockford. So Alignment Rockford promotes literacy in the community to youth. So they usually try to target people that are grade school, mainly kindergarten and preschool ages. So the books that we have there are geared more towards them. We have gotten a lot of great feedback that parents love it, kids love it. And we would like to have books for older children, so we actually have brought that up.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I think I got you guys.
Yeah, people have actually donated books.
Because it's a bring a book, take a book policy.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, so we welcome people to come in, and that space is provided free to our shop from Alignment Rockford. And what we do once a month, it was hard to do it in the winter, but we host a reading hour once a month in the shop for the community, and anyone can join in. We've had older kids join in. I bring my kids in. I have teens, young teens, and it's a good time. Usually we have snacks, drinks. Kids get to take a book. We try to theme it, do arts and crafts with the kids. Try to make it fun, community.
That's
based.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. My wife's a teacher, and she's obsessed with reading.
Yeah.
So she would also love that.
I have a great idea. I found not just the books that they give us, but I look outside and try to find books that would be of interest to the community. So I actually found this book that's called Sing With Me, and it's a story about Selena Quintanilla. Do you all know who Selena is?
No.
The
yes,
singer
I
who
know the
passed
singer.
away?
Yes.
Yes. So Selena...
I'm from Queens, remember?
Sorry.
Yeah.
That was a big deal in our neighborhood.
Yeah, so when Selena passed away, she has an amazing story. They made a movie about her. Jennifer Lopez played her, all of that.
Oh, okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
So I found this like great book. I of course read it to my granddaughter, and my granddaughter loved it. And I had the idea the next reading hour is going to be geared around a Selena theme. So I'm going to theme it Selena. We're going to have hot chocolate and conchas, the little pans, the little breads that you see, the conchas. I thought that would be a really cute idea.
Awesome.
You know, if girls want to come kind of dressed up in costume like Selena, I encourage that as well.
When is that?
I haven't planned the date, but I'm going to. I want to do it in March because I was waiting for it to get nicer. Nobody wants to bring
You
their
should.
kids out in the
I know, but you
winter.
should do it during the spring break. I think
You're
I think
right.
that's the week.
The third week of March.
Third week of March. Is that the 16th? I think is the Friday beforehand.
Yes.
March 16th is the Friday beforehand, and then it'll go obviously
That whole next
that
week.
whole next week.
Are you bringing the girls?
I will.
So that'll be about
No,
a week,
March,
week and a half after this airs.
It's March
Yeah.
18th is the Friday before.
Is it the 18th?
16th is Wednesday.
Okay, so the 18th.
I'm going to Vegas.
Yeah. So
Thank goodness it's for kids because I won't be competing with St. Patty's Day week.
Are you sure?
What do you mean?
If that's the right weekend. So
No,
I just
it-
wanna
it
plan
is-
for
Because St.
spring
Patrick's
break.
Day is Monday the 17th.
Yeah.
so I was right.
So you're saying Friday the 18th. It's actually Friday the 14th.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
14th.
leaving. You're right. I'm leaving the 19th.
That's why I kept getting off on
Wednesday.
that.
Yeah.
You're right.
So it'd be that week.
And today, the day this
Yeah.
is airing is March 7th right now. So that's like 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
Well, that's perfect. So I'm gonna have to,
got
get
to
a
go chop,
hold
chop.
of it and get that going. Hey, if I can do these events, I can throw together a reading hour pretty quickly too.
Right, and that's a big thing going on right now. You have an event starting tomorrow night. Well, it's March 8th,
March
Saturday
8th.
night.
It's in 2 weeks. So March 8th, I'm actually doing a Rockford Dolls launch. So a lot of people ask me, what is the Rockford Dolls?
Right, I have that right here. What is Rockford Dolls?
So the Rockford Dolls is an entire modeling team. So when I say team, it doesn't mean just models. It means we have hairstylists, photographers, videographers, as well as the models. So we come in an entire group. We have events that require the use of young ladies to hand off trophies because we have several car shows this year. So we have a car show in the spring and we have one in the fall where we will utilize the ladies so we can have a merchandise booth for them because it's all about merchandising. I did a lot of merchandising. for
Merch.
my-
It's all about
I'm
the
actually
merch.
wearing some of my merch right now.
Nice.
And
South side.
yes, I'm from Southwest Rockford, so I'm representing my side of town. Even the picture on the back, I know the audience wouldn't be able to see, is a photo of an area that I remember seeing very much when I was a child walking home. So
That's great.
the girls will have a launch party. They're going to launch merchandise, so not just apparel, but they are going to have makeup bags, water bottles, shot glasses, wine glasses. You name it, we have an entire 2 tables full of merchandise, complete and ready to sell that night. They will have a meet and greet for the first hour.
Is this it right here?
This is it right here. I actually brought one for each of you.
Oh, awesome.
Sweet.
Sweet.
They will have
I saw this on your Instagram.
Yes, a meet and greet will happen for the first hour. So it is an adult only, 21 and over event. So no kiddies. We will be going until about 1 a.m. at Union. Union is actually right behind the barbershop. It's that
It is.
event
Nice.
space,
You want
literally.
you want to know a fun fact? So you don't know my you've seen my mom in the shop.
I have.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have.
So Union before it was what it is now, right? Used to be the Union Hall.
Yeah.
That was for all the local unions to
UAW.
UAW
Yeah.
to come in, host their union meetings,
Mm-hmm.
forums, whatever. And they had like I don't know if it's still there, a bar.
The bar's still there.
The bar's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they would go to, and it's no longer the UAW hall anymore.
Right.
It's the Union. But yeah, I grew up in that place
Yeah, so
before they redid everything. I mean,
you're talking about the cool little bar that's on the side. It looks like a little speakeasy bar.
it is.
It's amazing.
It's upstairs,
They
right?
still have it, and it will be open during our event. So, if people want to just like get out for a minute and go to a little cool place around the corner, it's like
That's awesome.
I have photos of me as a little tyke at
Hanging out in
Santa,
there.
like cookies
Yeah.
with Santa and
Yeah.
stuff in there. So yeah, that place has been there for a really long time, and hosted a lot of important people in the Rockford area.
Yeah, Union is one of those hidden gems. I think too, like when it became an event space, they're trying to get more traction inside. They're doing different things. They just had their martini shake off recently. I don't know if you guys follow their page, but they're having all of the it was like all of the bartenders in the area are mixologists come into the area, and they were all competing, restaurants, bars, to see who made the best martinis.
I missed that, and I'm kind of upset.
I am too.
That sounds awesome.
We requested them to do a margarita next time.
Love it.
We love tequila.
No.
Dude,
Oh,
Danny
I love a good
left to go
margarita.
get more tequila when I was getting my hair cut, and I had to get back to work.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure on Thursday they have a drink waiting.
Thursday.
They'll drink waiting for me when I walk into.
In case you haven't noticed, I love bourbon. So bourbon's my thing.
Ah, okay.
I got a whole bourbon bar and a whole bourbon collection. We do sample some bourbon on the pod every now and then. Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. That's what my mom.
Heck yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were talking about growing up on the southwest side of Rockford. I'm not from the area. I moved to the Rockford area back in 2001.
Okay.
So lots changed just in 25 years since I moved here. And I'm sure growing up here, you've watched this whole place change a lot. But
I have.
I know one of your biggest things was your grandmother had a restaurant and nightclub.
She did. She owned Guadalajara de Noche, so we had live music every Friday and Saturday, live bands coming from all over the Midwest, as far as Texas, that were coming out to play at our nightclub. She had it for 35 years. She was
Is that the place that you posted the video of?
yes.
That was kind of like the Verdi Club or like some of the Italian clubs here in town, but it was specifically for the Mexican community. I remember you posted a video.
I'm trying to remember if that was when it was. You can't go inside there anymore. It's condemned.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's an upstairs and a downstairs.
There is.
Okay, that's what.
there
Okay.
is.
Yep. So we're talking about the same place.
Yeah, so it's right across from Ethnic Heritage Museum, actually. So the nearest intersection would be the Morgan Street Bridge in South Main. So right in that area, 35 years, that was my first job. I was 14. I started bussing tables, and then I became a waitress. And then as soon as I was old enough to be a bartender, Grandma put me behind the bar. My mom managed the restaurant. It was a family business. All of us worked there. All of
That's
us grew
awesome.
up there.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah. She was actually she was honored in the Ethnic Heritage Museum the year before I was as a female Latina entrepreneur that brought culture to the area for, that many years, 35 years.
And I know my wife, her family had a restaurant. We just sold the restaurant last year.
What was it?
It was the Grand Old Mill in Wonder Lake over in McHenry County. But when I met my wife in 95, her mom and her two sisters, so it was her mom and her two aunts, so Judy's two sisters and her, opened this restaurant.
Yeah.
And my boys, the same thing. We have a picture of my son when he was, 5 years old behind the bar, helping grandma. But the kids all worked in the restaurant. My wife worked there. I worked there on weekends. It was just, that's what you did. It's family owns a restaurant. Everybody chips in when you all work.
We all had a role, and I feel like that is the place that kind of built my strong character and my sense for community. If you can deal with, drunk people in the afternoon during a Super Bowl or whatever's going on, you can handle any situation.
That's
100%.
Yes.
So true.
So even I remember too, during holidays, why do we always have to? Because we would have our holidays like our Thanksgiving dinners and stuff
At
like
the
that.
restaurant.
At the restaurant, and as a child, I was like, why can't we just have them like everybody else at home? And my grandma, as I got older, she kind of explained to me, we do this because a lot of our customers come here. They come from other countries. They don't have any family here. They don't have anywhere to go. So I like them to feel welcomed and included. So, we would have random people joining us for holidays that, maybe just moved here over the past year or two, and they didn't have any family here yet. So, I was kind of raised in that environment right away and giving back and helping others that were less fortunate. And that's how Grandma had us when we were kids. And we did. We had birthday parties there. We had baby showers there. You name it. We had everything at Guadalajara de Noche. Yes.
Sounds a lot like Guanajuato, the grocery store where They have the best tacos in town.
I concur.
So no, the best. No, so little backstory. George is trying to impress you right now. So
No. What are you talking about?
because this was like 5 years ago. This before we were a podcast. Me and George started this whole repping the state line. We would do taco tastings throughout the Rockford area. We'd go everywhere. And somebody told us we had to go to the grocery store on the southwest side. I was like, okay, let's go. So we walk in. We're walking through the place. Music's going. And we're taking like video, everything. And
Groceries.
he has to announce where we are. And he couldn't say the name like 5 times. We took 5 clips and he could not pronounce it. And no, we didn't have anybody with us to help us pronounce it properly either. So
yeah, it was pretty
And
funny.
then we get in there and the 2 white guys are setting up a camera and all like this. And they're like, everybody's like looking at us and going, what's going on? And we're like, no, just don't worry about it. We're just talking about tacos. And I'm sure that place got like bombarded the following week with people coming in. They're like, where do these white people come from?
The gringos are here.
That's funny.
But I mean, it's just like,
Hey, we welcome all. You know
Yes.
that. We're
Well,
friendly.
money's-
We want you to eat and we want you to try all the salsas.
money's green.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, there is a low key new taco spot in town. Oh,
Right in front of that.
No.
Which one?
That you turned me on to.
Oh, Marufo.
Marufos.
Oh my goodness, Marufos is
South Alpine.
My mouth just started to drool right now when you said
It's all right. So I
Well, maybe we need to do this again. No.
so all right.
repeat.
Taco Tuesdays are starting up again, guys.
I
that's
lived in San Diego, in South San Diego, playing baseball. You guys know this, right? And
Wait, you did? I'm just kidding.
and down there
play
next
baseball?
next to Tijuana, right? They called them the roach coaches. So it was taco trucks. They had just
The Cali burritos.
Cali burrito.
They make a Cali burrito there.
Dude, they have like tacos are a thing, right? But like when you go in, it's just like old school. You walk in, you look at the menu, you order what you want. There's like 4 tables that are beat to heck, just like it's the taco shop. Like they're open 24 hours a day. Like, and you get the best Cali burrito. I mean, you have a whole pound of French fries in this burrito.
Yes.
They're like wrapped in a quesadilla. Like you get carne asada fries, the whole thing, right? You walk into this to Marufos,
Did it remind you of?
and it brought me back
Yeah.
to Tijuana. It brought me back to South San Diego,
Yeah.
Imperial Beach, like that
You
whole
were right there by the motherland, man.
that
You were
whole
right-
we used to go to Tijuana all the time, right? That was our
Yeah.
thing. Like we just crossed the border. We just walked. We'd walk over, walk back, walk. I mean, and it was a thing. It brought back so many memories just by the ambiance of the place, right?
Yeah.
And that was before I even tried the food. And now it's like, oh my,
I was raving about it, I think, for maybe a couple of your appointments about Marufos. And then Elena had never eaten them before either. And me and Danny had. So we're like, no. We have to order one day. Taco Tuesday. And we did a Taco Tuesday.
Nice.
They make these ribeye tacos. They literally put a thin strip of ribeye in a taco.
it's not sliced, it's not diced, it's not shredded.
It's a whole-
It's a whole chunk of ribeye
Yes.
on the taco.
And then they melt the cheese on the grill, so it's got like that crust on it.
Yep.
And
Well,
That's-
what my favorite thing is that they
We
haven't
gotta
had it
stop.
since the first time I went. Is they had
I'm hungry now.
They had quesadilla ramen, and it was
yes,
incredible.
their carne asada fries are to die for. Also, so if you ever try Marufos, we're giving Marufos a shout out.
There you
Please.
go.
All right.
It's on South Alpine. It's
We'll have to tag
a wonderful
Marufos
place to go and eat.
to our episode.
Yeah, their service is out of this world. Their food, and they have a little salsa bar,
They do.
so that if you want more stuff on your tacos, you can load more stuff on your tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Genius.
So I have a pretty good question. I feel like, and obviously people that listen to our podcast are from all walks of life around. What does it mean to you? Because all of your merch is Southside.
it is.
What does it mean to you to be Southside?
Southside to me is the area that I grew up in. It's where I went to school. It's where all my family lived. We all had houses on the same block, so we were a very tight-knit family. Grew up with all the cousins. That's what I remember. We had our family business. It was down the street. Actually, the family business was a few blocks down where we had all of our homes. So we all lived and grew up on the south side of Rockford. I went to King School. Our park was Marinelli Field, Black Hawk Park. everything that I remember walking around, we would walk all the way to Zamuto's Dairy to go get granitas, meet people on the way, and, go hang out at the dairy, go hang out at Booker, Washington. These were just memories that I had as a child. The St. Anthony's Church used to have a yearly carnival that was right there at the church. So those were memories that I had growing up. Even before the airport got developed, Fiesta Hispana was actually an event that took place from 1983 to 2006. And majority of the event took place at the airport until they started to redevelop it. And then it moved around. It went to Davis Park. It went to ISC. It went to various locations. But, a lot of my memories that I have were from there. And I like to tell my story, and I like to share my story.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was a great place to grow up. And I feel like there's that sense of community got lost with all this internet and Wi-Fi and
100%.
A lot of times
Those are my
take
favorite.
the damn phone. Me too. I need to take the phone from myself sometimes to get off
I
of
agree.
it. And when we're eating dinner, don't be on your phone. Let's all communicate. And I have to force my children to go outside and play, and then they don't know what to do when they go outside. I'm like, what do you mean? I used to go outside as soon as I was able to.
Yeah.
And
I'd
you don't
be
come home until the
dark.
street lights come on, you
Yeah,
know? Like
100%.
It was the same thing. So I grew up in Sunnyside, Queens.
Yeah.
So Queens, New York City. They say it's the most diverse place in America because we have 600 languages being spoken at any given time on the subway. It's just food from all over the world, people from all over the world. And it was the same thing. Everyone I knew,
melting
family,
pot.
everybody was within a 10-block radius.
Yes.
And we all lived and worked. I mean, we lived on 41st Street. My dad walked to 52nd Street to go to work every day, to the warehouse where he worked. And community was just always there. You get home and your mom would be like, so I got a call. And you're like, oh crap, was it one of the good things I did today? Like helping the older lady with her groceries? Or was it, yelling at somebody that almost hit us with their car?
Yeah.
So Maureen called. She said she almost hit you with her car today. And it's like, oh, damn, everybody knew you.
Back then, it
Damn you,
took,
Maureen.
It took a village to raise
It
kids.
did.
And everybody in the neighborhood knew us. And if we were up to no good, we all got ratted out and in trouble.
But see, that's the
Yeah,
one thing. Like as I've gotten older and so I moved here and I lived in Belvedere for a while first, but now I'm up in Roscoe. But I'm not like in town. I'm in a subdivision.
Yeah.
And that everybody just keeps to themselves. Nobody.
Yeah, no one
There's
has
no
like
block parties. There's
no.
nobody even waves when you're walking in your garage. It's like the
Excuse
strangest
me.
thing.
We hold block parties. We do. We shut down the street. We put
Right.
together
No,
block
but I'm
parties.
just saying though, you're in a rare pocket in Rockford on this street
Yeah.
where you and your neighbors go. When I moved to Belvedere, we were the first house in our cul-de-sac. So as all the families moved in, we all got together and we would do the same thing. Like our whole little cul-de-sac and the houses right behind us, we all hung out all the time. Everybody's watching everybody's kids. Yeah. But it's when we moved to like Roscoe, we're in this new area now. Nobody's out.
Yeah. No, times have changed.
And it's just
for sure.
craziness.
Yeah.
I love that community though. Like that community feel. I grew up on Northwest Highway in Park Ridge,
Right.
which is it's a major street.
I was just there the other day.
Oh, were you?
I was.
I was there last week.
I had an event.
No.
on
Well,
at
I
church.
lived on Northwest Highway, but even being the case, I remember just going to some of my neighbors that lived off that street, and dude, there was a cul-de-sac. We'd play rollerblade hockey every day, almost every day. Or we'd ride our bikes and get into trouble and
We
do
would
jumps.
ride our
and-
bikes everywhere. I don't
Yes.
even think parents understood how far we rode them bikes.
Yes.
You were on the south. You were on the south side, but you were on
And I'm
the
on
east
the
side of
west
the
side.
river.
I'm like, what am I doing over
That's
here?
funny
Yeah.
you say that because I just had a conversation with my mom maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I grew up across the street from the Speedway, and it was before everything got developed on 173. So the first thing that came was McDonald's, and then came the Menards, and then came Arby's.
Look at you. You remember in order.
Me
There
and
was nothing there.
me and my buddy Garrett would ride our bikes, which all the way down 173 from Forest Hills. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
to McDonald's. And I go, Mom, how old were we when we started riding our bikes? And she goes, you rode your bikes to McDonald's? I go, yeah, like every other day.
And you were probably like 7 or 8 or
I was
something.
I was like 8, 9, or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would just hop on.
Where I couldn't imagine sending my kids out at that age because I just don't feel like they have,
That's like Mason.
They don't have the street smarts to even know what the hell to do.
That's
I
like
agree.
That's like
agree.
Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a 14 and a 10-year-old, and I'm like, no.
You
Where are you
can't
going?
do what I was
You
doing
can't
at
do
your
that.
age.
No.
I don't even trust you to do
God,
that.
can you imagine what you're doing when you're 14?
gosh.
My
Because I
kid-
know what I was doing when I was 14.
Yeah, me too.
And your daughter's not doing what I was doing when I was 14.
That part right there. That part right there.
Exactly.
Yes.
100%.
We grew up fast, you guys.
Well, that's part of our
With no
generation,
phones
though. It's
around.
like,
No proof.
Yeah,
No.
but like we grew up that fast because like it was a different
It was a different time. It was a
Time.
different era.
It was- yeah, they
like we don't have to worry about what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We didn't our parents didn't have to worry about what's gonna happen. Because everyone was there to help everybody.
and it's just not like that anymore.
agreed, man. I never was scared to go
no.
Even
roam the neighborhood.
I even remember we had like a local bum, and he was the coolest
Yes.
dude on the planet. And he used to
All
like.
right,
You had one of those too? We had one in my
we would
neighborhood.
we would take him food, and he would like shadow box, and we'd put music on, and he'd dance and stuff.
Do you remember-
Like,
hey, do you remember-
Crazy Andy? That's what we used to call him.
Do you remember
Crazy
in Rockford there was like 3 bumps?
Yeah,
And they were the same 3.
the same 3, but now there's so many.
I've
I
seen
know there's professional panhandlers now.
Yeah.
But
That's
like,
Yeah.
different.
who was I don't know his name, but the guy that always wears the white hat, that kind of like the old school golf hat that goes down. He was really short. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Sorry.
Man.
No,
He was
Downtown?
he was the Loves Park bum.
The
Yeah.
little spark bomb.
No, I got nothing. I only know the Rockford ones. So, I know the ones on the south side. That was it.
Yeah, we had an old Irish guy that was a former boxer. Jimmy was his name, and he slept right in front of the bank.
Jimmy.
Yeah, but that was it. But he would tell you stories about
Yes.
when he traveled the world, and he was a boxing champion in the 50s and 60s.
Isn't that
and he
just
just
crazy?
he just was like, I like to drink, I like to wander, I don't need a place to live. And that's how he was. And
Yeah,
he'd sit
this
there,
guy too,
he'd sit there and just collect enough money to get a bottle of something and just eat a little food and be done.
And people in the neighborhood would feed.
Yeah, we'd bring him
food and-
sandwiches. We'd go to McDonald's and bring him burger, bring him a slice of pizza.
But he always looked out for us. So
Yep.
if anything was going on, he would never let anything happen to one of us
No.
kids ever. Like, so he was always looking out like, you guys good? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Well, it's getting dark. You better get home soon. I'm going to tell your mom, you know, like that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I remember too, it was in the 80s. It was in the late 80s. My grandma had a block party right in front of Guadalajara. She shut down South Main.
Ooh.
And she had a whole block party. She put a stage in the middle of the street. You can't do that anymore because I guess it's a fire issue or whatever. But yeah, believe me, I tried. No,
I mean, I would love to see something like that happen.
You can
but-
still close off the street, but
you
yeah,
can
you can't.
close out the street, but you
you
can't.
gotta leave
can't
a
put
fire
stage.
lane or
Yeah, you have to
whatever.
leave a
Yeah.
fire lane because it's like an Illinois route now.
Correct.
So that's why you can't do it. You can put it on one of the side streets. But you can't do it right in South Main. But even my grandma had, because back in the day too, when we had a lot of these cultural events, they would do a reina. A reina means a queen coronation. So they would do a queen coronation. They would usually give them some kind of award, like scholarship money if they were going to school, trade school, whatever they were doing. So one of our events that we're blessed to bring back this summer, August 2nd, actually, we are rebirthing the Fiesta Hispana, which had gone away in 2006. So we are in contact with the originators of Fiesta Hispana, and they gave us permission several years ago. Didn't feel like it was a good fit until this year to bring it back.
Okay.
So we will bring it back. We'll have it at Lovings Lake. It's actually on
Ooh, we got more flyers.
my list.
flyers.
Oh, by the way, switch to this camera.
No. I'm gonna post.
Are you gonna post them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Perfect.
post.
We'll get them in right where we talk
Yeah,
about them.
so Fiesta Hispana is on August 2nd, and we will be bringing that back. And along with that, we will have a queen coronation. So the first place winner that becomes queen, the Fiesta Hispana queen, will win $2,000. First runner-up, $1,000, and second runner-up will be $500.
Wow, that's
so we're
awesome.
trying to help with our youth, give back to the community, help our young ladies with schooling. Trade school, whatever it might be. I know college is not for everyone. I did trade school, and there's nothing wrong with that, ladies.
I was a carpenter for
Yes.
years, so no student debt.
I even had, I do have to give a special shout out to Jeanette Solis.
Yep.
She is actually working with me, and she has a very specific 2 scholarships that will be for potential realtors or someone who wants to be a lender or a home inspector. So because she started her mentorship program, she will jump on and help with our organization and actually give 2 free scholarships for them to take the course and take the test.
Nice.
From her group. So from it's Smart Home Realty. Yes. So thank you, Jeanette Solis. I appreciate you helping with Fiesta Hispana, and she's helping in other ways, but I don't want to announce yet.
No, she's an amazing person.
She's an amazing.
Good friend
You
of mine.
really have a lot on your schedule. My gosh.
Yes, always busy, always working. I don't even know when I get sleep in, but I do. And then I have kids too. So I have an adult son, and he's the one, of course, that made me grandma. And then I have a granddaughter. So my son is a single dad. So they still. My son has a wonderful job, though. He's a great dad. But I don't have any girls. I'm a boy mom, so I have 3 sons. And then I have an 11.
I don't have any boys. I'm a girl dad.
You're a girl dad? Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
All testosterone in my house, except me and Bella. Yeah. And it's even the dog, the new puppy that we got. Male dog. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I had a female dog. Yep. I'm right there
See,
with
you're...
you. The opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good thing. It's a family business, just the way that I was raised and brought into a family business. All of my events, my sons help with the events. My 13-year-old, shout out to Jacob. Anytime me or my boyfriend Moises are stressed out with any technical difficulties, my 13-year-old son can come in and fix it in a heartbeat without even blinking, and then make me feel like this big because I don't know how to do anything. Shout out, Jacob. You're the best.
Don't you just love that, though?
They were born with the phone in their hand. They know how to do everything.
They do. Yeah.
Everything.
And it's surprising.
And I'm like on the struggle bus, like, wait a minute, how did you do that? And he did it so fast I didn't even see.
And the crazy part is we're still on the brink of technology and what's to come. So these kids that are young that know it all, I mean, they're starting to get in these tech industries.
Yes.
And they're just making a killing because they're really at the ground front still of what's to come, right? Yeah. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
My podcast team, Icon Studios, also shout out to Icon Studios. We start filming this week, actually. So I bring back my season 4 of Unscripted, my podcast, and I see you got the Unscripted hat. That's not my logo, but it does say Unscripted. So Unscripted returns, and my son Jacob has expressed interest in learning the behind the scenes and how to maneuver and set up a podcast studio and learn the equipment and editing and all of that. So he actually will be joining me during filmings when he can. And he is going to shadow Icon Studios, and
that's really cool.
Yeah, the behind the scenes. I think he's going to catch on fast. They're actually really good at mentoring, people in the area that want to learn how to become a videographer, a photographer, manage a podcast studio. So I'm.
You said Icon
grateful.
Studios?
Icon Studios. Yes, Icon Studios. Yash Musabji, he's actually an Art Council board member with me. I believe he's one of the youngest board members ever. He's like a year older than my son. So shout out to Yash for being such a young beast. He's out here doing it, traveling the world. He's got a lot of big boy gigs where they fly him out, and but he has a team that still can work with me here. That's awesome. So, yeah. Podcast has developed over the years. We started with just, like 2 mics and a table with a sheet behind us.
Yeah.
And then we grew it into what it is now. So I'm starting my season 4. I'm super excited. The people that I have had on, I've been so blessed. I've interviewed some pretty amazing people, and we have learned to use the podcast as a promotional tool for all of our events. So a lot like how you guys were saying your podcast, you guys were like doing tastings and things like that. We were utilizing not maybe shooting full episodes, but like clips, like 15-minute, 20-minute clips of people we had for sponsors for events, entertainment that we had. If there were organizations that were going to join us at the event with like a non-for-profit table and they had something going on, we wanted to make sure that we spotlighted all of these people in the event. Because the thing that we heard years prior was, I would have went to the event if I would have known about it. I didn't know about it until after the event. So how do we prevent that? We got to get the promotion out there.
Yeah.
And nowadays, to be honest with you, it's not news. It's not newspaper. It's not. It's podcasting. People are more likely to listen to a podcast than when do you see the news clips? I see them when somebody puts them on Facebook. That's
it.
when I see them.
Scrolling through
100%.
TikTok.
When you read a news clip,
I don't
when
even
it
have
hits
cable.
Facebook.
I don't even have cable.
I don't have cable
No.
either. I haven't had cable in years.
No.
Streaming service,
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah. No,
And
podcast is
that, now
definitely.
it's funny that you say that, and I don't know when this came out or how the truth of it or anything like that. I saw it on Facebook. Just putting that out there.
So it has to be true.
right? There's a new,
Has to be.
but there's a news station in town that is getting rid of all their anchors and just showing clip. And I haven't seen it. Showing clips of other news stations that's doing our local news from a different town.
Yes.
I think that's true with a lot of the news stations.
They're
That
consolidating
yeah.
to Iowa.
That
Yes, they are.
is crazy.
So they're always making it look like they don't need weathermen anymore. They don't need news anchors anymore. Like, so they're getting like they've eliminated a lot of their staff. It looks like
That's sad for our town.
it is.
It's super sad because as you see growing up, right?
which
our news
station
anchors.
is this? I have not seen this.
I'll keep them nameless.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because
It's only one. It's only one of the stations in town, and they control a couple of stations in town.
Yes.
Interesting. Got it.
So, but this is the consolidation with the new management that owns that franchise. That
So
they decided.
it's not. I don't think it's the Rockford location that's doing it. It's the larger franchise.
It's the larger owner. They're
That
based
is-
out of Des Moines, Iowa.
Yes.
Who owns the
That part.
Who owns the broadcasting company that owns the rights to our area, and their bottom line says we can do this from one studio and then have one or two freelance reporters to do local stuff if we need them to,
Super sad.
and just
It
stream
is.
it right to us.
Because I enjoy, like, I was meeting and getting to know a lot of the anchors, daytime and nighttime anchors.
Yeah.
When they come and they make it more personal, they actually do interviews with people in the community. And
And we've had one that was
on our
podcast.
Well, yeah, and she stepped down from the news completely now. So
Yep.
But she's also doing great things in our community.
Yes.
yes,
So,
she is. I know who you're talking
Yep.
about, too.
yep.
I think we're talking about she's at Go Rockford now.
Yep.
Yep.
So Whitney Martin, you're the best. No,
Yep. I like how you just name drop it.
you have to. That's what this is for.
Yep.
So, and Whitney she's been our host for chamber events. She's been on our podcast multiple times. Just unbelievable person who loves our community. So
She does. I actually became part of the Go Rockford welcoming committee. So when new people come in and we have events, they just had one and I did not go because it was freezing that day.
Oh.
They had one at Embassy Suites where it was like a meet and greet, like for older residents on the welcoming committee that have been here for a long period of time to meet new people that just moved into our community. So it was like, I think they had like a couple speakers, they had a couple board games, they have light appetizers
and I did not
drinks.
see that event until
Yes.
after it happened.
That's what I'm saying. So
Every time.
Every single time. Well, I found out because I'm part of the welcoming committee, so of course they wanted me there. And my goal was to go, but it was so cold. That was that night. It was like 25 below zero. I'm sorry. Once I got home from the shop, I was not coming back
That's the
out.
problem. You went home.
If I would have just stayed at the shop, but hey, you know how it is at the shop too. They would have talked me into a couple shots, and I would have winded up there more than tipsy.
That's
Yeah.
a fact. That's a fact, Jack.
It's all Danny's fault.
No, I was gonna say Eric. I feel like Eric is the one that
He's the silent instigator. No,
he is. He is
silent
because
instigator.
he'll be sitting there quiet, cutting right. He'll be cutting the hair, and all. Next thing you hear, oh, Danny. You know what I mean? Like,
well, Eric will just be back there, and all of a sudden there'll be glasses lined up, and I'm like, "Who's that for?" You know who it's for. He's like, "You know who
Eric
it's
is from Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
and he has a very, very Puerto
very
Rican,
strong accent."
very
Thick
very thick accent.
Yeah.
You're right.
We love us some Eric. Oh my goodness, we love it. So back to the barbershop again. Elena was in that shop for a while by herself.
Oh yeah,
And then she found Danny because she was going to barber schools and
to be a teacher.
Yeah,
Yep.
and she met Danny there. I have done Elena's hair for some years now, even when I was still in a salon spa. I'm so happy I got out of salon spas. I'm much better in a barbershop. I just like the environment better. It's more me.
But you're still cutting the same clients.
I still have the same clients. They followed me everywhere from like 20 years ago. Some of them are still with me, and I'm doing their kids and grandkids.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm celebrating my 27th year doing hair. So I have been a licensed cosmetologist that long. I have been a licensed cosmetology educator it was 2 years after that I received that degree. And then 2019, I decided to enroll in barber school because I wanted to get cross-training in barbering. So the difference between those licenses are I learned how to straight blade. So
Is it true that did you use a balloon?
we did start with a balloon.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you pop it, you nicked them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's nothing better than a
straight
straight
blade.
blade
Than a
shave.
straight blade.
Like, I mean, and I had an old barber, like in the neighborhood I grew up in, old Italian guy. And he cut my hair from the time I was like 5 until I found out he was retiring, and I was back in New York visiting my parents. I set up a
went to go
haircut.
see him?
I went to see him before he stopped. And he
probably
and,
made his whole day.
and I'm in town. I'm like, yeah, we'll do a shave and a haircut. And he's like, I don't do the shaves anymore. His head was shaking too much. I was like, all right, we'll just do a haircut then. Go for it.
My grandpa was a barber.
The one that started the bank?
Nope, the other one. My mom's dad. Yeah, he was a barber in Ukrainian Village forever. Everybody knew my grandpa. My grandpa cut hair for what's his name?
Oh, I know that guy. He's really cool.
No. From the Tonight Show.
Jay Leno?
No,
Jimmy Fallon.
no, the other one.
Those are the only two I know.
Johnny Carson?
No. I forget his name.
If it was in the
Show.
70s, I don't know.
No. It was
McMahon.
recent.
I'm like, yeah.
I don't know. There's actually an episode where he's talking about his visit to Chicago that he grew up in Chicago and that he went and all.
Was it David Letterman?
No,
Did he barber in Chicago?
My grandpa, yeah, forever.
So the first barber school actually was in Chicago. I don't know if a lot of people know that history. So a lot of the guidelines and making of guidelines for barbers, home base was Chicago.
I forget.
yeah.
Maybe it was Jimmy. I don't think it was
I forgot
Jimmy
what
Fallon.
year that school opened.
There was somebody
Yeah.
that spent some time in Chicago and as a kid or growing up, and he on the air was reminiscing about it and saying how he used to go to the Ukrainian Village and see this barber and all the time and like had this relationship. And I'm like, that's my freaking grandpa. He didn't remember his name.
He don't remember his name,
but
but
I
he
was like, that's my grandpa. And I was all we had the clip that we passed around the family. It was pretty cool. But yeah, he's he used to cut my hair until he passed. So then it was Genevieve. She's my stylist. Studio Blue. Name drop. Since we're doing it. Plug. Studio Blue. But yeah.
Yep. You have to hit the name drop your piece.
I don't even know where Studio Blue is.
I've heard of this.
Is it BLUE or
BLU?
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, Studio Blue.
Just making sure I get it right.
Yeah, it's
you're right.
What's
That's a huge deal.
A huge.
huge? No, it's
They
the
make fun of my New York accent all the time.
yes. Sine. You wearing? Is that a Sine shirt or jacket?
This jacket is not. This is
Talia.
but the scene, t-shirt, pants, all scene, yeah.
Sine.
Scene.
But there's no scene. Do we have to rehash this again?
It's like Target.
No, the name of the company is Scene. SENE. That's how they
Sine.
pronounce it. I didn't make the company. I'm not the founder.
If they wanted scene, they should have put a damn scene in there.
I tag him enough of everything.
This situation comes up at least
Once a season.
once a season.
Well, that's because I buy most of my clothes from one company because they make them where it's made to fit me.
Yeah.
And you do like an online,
It's
thing.
so much
tailored.
saved that he can order something and it's in the exact shirt size, everything perfect for him every time.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to keep them. They're
And that's
keepers.
why I keep working
Yeah.
with the same company. And I have 2 companies I do, 3 now that I do that with. So
Oh, it's growing because you're an influencer. I forgot, Mr. Influencer.
I'm not an influencer.
Yeah, you are. You get paid.
I did win an award.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I did win. Hey!
I got a Bay Award. which is from a company called Back At You. They track your social media
Nice.
for my real estate posts.
Oh, I thought you were going to say from repping the state line. I'd be like, yeah, that's right.
No,
We're not that big yet.
I'm trying, but our 3 viewers, Cassie Evers, yes, we're talking to you.
So we're not a huge podcast. We enjoy doing it. That's why we do it.
But in fairness,
but we have like 70 people that like religiously
Watch.
They either watch or
Yeah.
listen religiously
More
every
people
week.
probably watch it than you think. I didn't realize that until I'm out, and I know people will stare at me and they'll be like,
Yeah,
are you Melissa?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I watch you on the podcast." Like when people start saying that to you, you're like, "Wow, people are really watching."
Like that time I was at DC Winery with my wife eating tacos and drinking wine. Some lady kept staring at me. She's with a group of people. This is the summer of COVID, basically.
Yeah.
So we're all like out finally a little bit. And I'm walking to go. I'll be right back. I'm going to the restroom. And I get up. I hear John, and I look. I'm like, yeah. Hi, you don't know us, but where's George? And I'm like, I don't know. She's
Tuesdays.
like, when are you guys going to do a Taco Tuesday again? And it's like, oh, they watched us on Facebook.
Were you all recording during COVID?
We recorded
So-
until everything. We couldn't get tacos anywhere anymore, basically.
But they did them in their car.
Yeah, we used to do social distancing Taco Tuesday. It was hilarious.
They would order the tacos. They'd go sit in the parking lot, and then he would have a camera, and then he would have a camera.
And we did everything with iPhones, which back then
then,
it was like
yeah.
an iPhone 10.
And
so,
then we turned
Yeah.
into the podcast, and we started on Zoom. So we had all of our stuff via Zoom.
To give you a little history, when we launched this idea, it was videos, and it was we created a Facebook group. We got to 1,000 people followers, and we were going around town and basically highlighting businesses around Rockford area, things that are happening, and doing little mini clips, editing them, and posting a couple a week. It was the goal.
like when we went to Bygone Brands
Yes.
that time, and we got our scarves and stuff
Yep.
like that from them, the sock monkeys.
My mini clips do better than the entire episodes. Do yours as well?
That's one of the things we got to work on.
We're working
is-
on
My
that now.
clips go crazy.
Which
Yeah.
I sent you that
How do you do
that-
your clips?
that post.
Icon Studios does all of that for me.
Oh, yeah, see.
So I have those gentlemen are the magicians behind the camera. So they will pretty much, if I have an episode, or even if I do like the 15 or 20 minute, they chop it up into smaller clips, because you can create a lot of engagement, and then people want to see the rest of it just by giving them like little bits.
That's the part that we need to start doing.
Yeah.
Which I sent you the information on that.
Okay.
I texted it to you. I'll send it again.
I think I saw something.
Well, that would be a great thing for Josh to add to the.
Well, the problem is though, you'd have to send him the video too,
Yeah.
and he's not doing that. He doesn't answer the Dropbox. We all know Josh is too busy.
Dude, I'm busy.
Josh is just too busy, like to do anything. I mean, I just moved real estate companies, started a team, and been traveling all over the country.
Yeah.
But you're too busy.
Yeah.
Facts.
You also don't have a 10, 4, and 2-year-old to take care of.
No, I got a 19, a 23, and a 25-year-old to take care of. They're worse. The adults are
They
a lot
always
worse.
need something. They're always asking for advice. Yeah, I know. You
See-
don't stop being a parent when they get older. Let
Yeah,
me tell you
exactly.
that.
But my
You
thing
don't.
is like,
And half of them live with me still.
yeah, that is true. But I mean, I work 3 jobs. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, that and the kids. I made time to be here, though.
Well, and we're grateful for that.
I could have said, you know what, I can't do it. It's too much. But no, I'm here.
Josh is
I'm
the main
here.
reason we've moved to a 6-episode season, recorded over a 2-week period. 'Cause
Versus
he keeps
a 10
going
episode
instead of
season.
10 episodes, 10 weeks in a row, because he's like, I can't make it that day now. What do you mean? It's in our calendar for like 6 months. Yeah, but now I can't make it.
Something comes up.
It
Yeah,
does.
yep. So,
I get it. That's why I still haven't gotten my haircut.
do you work at? Never mind. I'm not even gonna go there.
When she's at the barber shop, it's to work, not to get her hair done.
Yeah, but that would be like something I wouldn't forget because I'm there constantly.
Yes, but she's
thinking-
making like almost not super Jurassic, but a Jurassic enough
I mean, a
haircut
drastic change.
that it's
it's a
gonna
change.
it's
It
like
needs time.
it's a thing. Like it's not just like a trim.
I showed it to you. It's
You
not a
did.
trim.
It's
No,
not.
it's
That's what I'm
a
saying. It's
trim.
not a trim.
Oh, dang.
It's like
No.
it's like a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I'm changing my whole.
Yeah.
New year, new me.
And I think I think you should do it on the morning of March 8th
Yes.
and debut it.
Debut it.
Thought of
Debut
that.
it Saturday,
That's funny
March
that you
8th.
bring so I can show
or
off
Friday
my
or
new
Friday
too.
night or Friday night.
Yeah,
right.
something like that, and get it ready
And
for
get the
this.
perfect outfit
Yeah.
that matches the new you
Yeah.
I like it.
and debut it.
You know what? I'm gonna take that advice.
I like
gonna
it.
take that
Smart.
advice.
You're so smart, Josh.
I think
I know. I was inspired to do my podcast during COVID, so that's when I started my podcast. Was the year of COVID. We had the social distancing.
We didn't think of the idea of podcasts, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Not until it was almost,
A year later.
it was like January of 21.
And we're like, maybe we should change this from a video format to a podcast. Because we could do that from home. And we start our first season, my lord.
We did on Zoom.
Zoom.
We would Zoom. Jenny Sarabia Jones was one of our first guests.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had like 4 squares and a screen and
Right.
recording now.
so. If you started during COVID, you were with the same studio.
I was at the same studio, but I was with a different producer at that time. So I had a different producer. He had a studio there already before COVID, and I pitched the idea to him. He loved it. He was considering doing podcasts anyway. He hadn't put the podcast. So that's why I say we had like 2 mics, a sheet behind us.
That's
and just
awesome.
a table. And
Well,
literally
how we started. We started with Zoom, and then we
Yeah.
said, let's do it together on still an iPhone. And then I said, all right, we need to improve our quality if anybody's going to actually.
Yeah.
So we got
We
this.
put the iPhone on a stand at the end of the table. That's
and
how we
then
recorded.
we had like a little mic in the middle. But now, I mean, to me, this is it. This whole setup, what makes the podcast, the audio quality.
It does.
Video quality is nice. I mean, not everybody watches on YouTube. I'd say majority of the people listen. The YouTube part's just to another medium, another thing that you could throw out
You
there.
have a few viewers that enjoy a visual podcast, and when I
100%.
can watch one, I do watch. But I will be honest, I listen to podcasts more than I watch.
Yeah, most people.
And
yeah.
it's crazy. Our most viewers are from Alexa.
Yeah.
Really?
They say Alexa, play Rep in the State Line.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
one thing we found.
I use Buzzsprout to upload
Same.
us and then send us
And then it
everywhere.
sends us
and they
out,
give
yeah.
us
Same.
the
The stats.
diagnostics on everything regularly, and that's how I know.
But what we have left to do, and you brought it up, is we don't push our podcast enough at all.
No.
I mean, we don't. We just put it out there, and it reaches some people.
We post a link to it on Facebook. I'm like, hey, new episode dropped. Tag a bunch of people, and that's
We
about
need
it.
to start. Well, we created a TikTok account, and we need to start dropping some shorts.
Something that helped me gain more of a following was when I would post my podcast on Facebook. What I would do is I would, in the description, like in the content, I would, of course, give a shout out to my team who was on the podcast, just a brief description of what we might be talking about. And then I started doing this thing called mentions. Everybody that was mentioned, and I noticed you're taking notes.
Then do an honorable mention and tag them.
tag them.
We do that for every episode.
That forces it on everybody's page. More viewers, more audience that are not your own will see it because they wait to see when are they going to talk about me because I noticed that they tag me in the mentions. And then they're more likely to share it, put it on their story. It's all about the stories right now.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
stories.
100%.
That's the thing.
That's
we
where
need
you
to-
gotta
we
get
need
those
to do
short
short
clips.
clips and
Yeah.
put it on stories.
All
and
right.
do
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
guess-
George is freaking out. We're just over an hour.
How long does your podcast go?
Yeah.
We let it go organically. So sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's an hour and a half. So
Yeah,
it could
that's
be.
what we.
yeah.
That's another thing that
we
we
try
started.
to keep it an hour just so I'm not having the guys
Too
do
much.
too much work because then that's more clips they have to go through.
100%.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything else.
Yeah.
Unscripted, we talked about museum, grandma.
Well,
The one question I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
I saw in one of your interviews, I researched you a little bit, that you did.
We
they
all
asked
did.
you about something you love, and it said that you love to cook. And they didn't ask you then the follow-up question, what do you love to cook? Like,
Yeah, what's your
favorite meal to prepare to cook for somebody?
We were talking about tacos, but I'm not kidding when I say tacos are probably my favorite and one of the easiest things to make. But a dish that I absolutely love is ceviche. I don't know if you've ever had ceviche. So it's so fresh and it's just Like everybody in the house devours it. It's
I love ceviche.
It's a favorite in the household.
Indeed.
It's way
It's a
more
favorite.
prep than anything else.
It is.
You know
It's a
what?
lot of chopping, a lot of prepping, a lot of squeezing limes. You know, because the lime juice cooks
Yes.
the shrimp, and yeah.
There's one thing I miss from pretty much living in the motherland, right? San Diego, is on Sundays, every abuela would make pozole.
You can
Like,
find pozole here, but
I know,
you gotta,
no.
yeah.
I want, like, I'm talking like she cooked down the neck bone, she cooked down the
Yes.
vertebrae. Like, she cooked this for 48 hours and then turned it into
Magic.
magic. And then like,
Magic.
and then like you show up and they have a table like this with every condiment you want to put in it. Like, it was a thing.
My
and it was
dad makes the best pozole, and I will invite you over the next.
It was
Oh,
that's
dang.
the one thing, and I keep telling my wife, and she can make as best as she can, right? But like, that's the one thing I miss from San Diego the most.
Yeah. Do you like the red pozole or the green pozole?
Green.
The green pozole usually is chicken too.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
everything.
I like both. I like both.
Whoa.
That was weird.
Just calm down.
I heard the little static mic.
There's a little static.
But yes,
Last time that happened,
to
we
me-
lost the whole
To me,
episode.
it doesn't.
No, we didn't.
To me, it doesn't matter. It's one of red or green. It's
I
not.
like both.
I like both.
But I'm used to, I guess, the red pozole
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Because of where my dad's from. My dad's from Nayarit, Mexico. So that's what they make.
So yeah, that's a good question. That was my main question, but we already talked a lot about it. But you mentioned in one of your interviews that your grandparents mean a lot to you. Obviously,
Yes.
I've heard a lot about your grandma, but your grandpa too. Tell me, like, what generation are you here? And like, so the reason I ask is that I attribute pretty much everything about what I've done and where I've gotten in life to my grandpa. He was my role model,
Yeah.
and he was the one that came here from in the middle of World War II, started with nothing, living in a garage, and founded a credit union that exists today, and inspired, left it. He was rich back in Ukraine. I'm Ukrainian, so that's a major topic of discussion. But my grandpa immigrated here, left it all behind because the German during that. And my dad was born in Munich in a concentration camp, and they made it here somehow. And my basically started with absolutely nothing and built this life. And now I'm second generation here. And look
Everybody
at this.
came to the United States as an immigrant. Let's remember that.
Yes.
100%.
Well,
Yes.
I'm only third
Yeah.
generation here as well.
So I just wanted to bring that up just because there's a lot of
Yes.
craziness going on
Oh,
right now about
absolutely.
who belongs here and who don't. And it's like everybody came here as an immigrant. But I'm third generation. So my mom was born here. Grandma was born here. So I have a funny story that you bring up sharing your grandpa's story.
Yeah.
My grandpa was from Aguascalientes, Mexico. And him, my great-grandmother, and his brother, my Uncle Bob, they started working their way up here. They made their way to the border of Texas, and they were in Texas for a while. I want to say it was El Paso, something like that. They were in Texas for a little while, and they were migrating up doing farm work. So they were
Gotcha.
they were young men. They were young men. I want to even say teenagers at that time. So while they were in Texas, what happened was there was, you know how they used to keep records? Everything was on paper, right?
Yep.
There was a fire where they had all of the records from that city, and my grandmother took advantage of it. And I do have to say, she said that my grandfather and his brother records were in that hall, and they gave them papers. They were not born here, but after that day, they were.
Wow.
And so my grandma did what she had to do, right?
to get
to get
get
them
it.
here
Yeah.
so that they could become American citizens. And then they started migrating towards Wisconsin. They were in Delvin, Wisconsin for some years. And my grandma was in Rockford. Most of our family resided in Rockford at that time in the 30s. So my family's been here for a very long time, almost 100 years now.
Dang.
And I remember hearing stories about how there were several waves of Latino families, and we were like in the second wave that came to Rockford. and started working, farming, and doing things like that. So my family was included. My grandpa would come to Rockford because that's where they had more of a nightlife, because it was a city and not just a town.
Right, because Delavan is like
He
very.
met my
Delavan's-
grandma,
yeah.
and here I am.
There you go.
So I don't know. I only know a little bit from my ancestors. I don't know as in depth as that, but like my ancestors came from Mexico and they went to the Blackfoot Indians
Yes.
in North and South Dakota, and then they came down here. So I'm like a lot of Native American from Blackfoot Indians, which is kind of cool. And then my grandmother and her side of the family are the Mexican side of the family, so they ended up here in Rockford, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's nice to hear those. And my grandpa too was he was like everyone's grandpa, everyone's uncle. Everybody called him Uncle Joe, and he was just the happiest man in the world. He always took us camping. He was always doing stuff with all of the kids, all of the cousins. He had the pickup truck. You can't do it now, but he used to stick like 20 of us in the back and take us right up north. Yeah,
Go running down.
yeah.
Route 2.
Like,
Things were so much more simpler.
to each other. But
I'll never forget those station wagon rides where you can face the back.
Yeah, you'd sit in the back.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about? Your neighbor has the Tesla that you can sit backwards in it. You can reminisce.
He sold it.
What?
He got a Y. He upgraded to a Y.
Oh.
5-seater.
No.
he even taught us how to swim by just throwing us in a lake and telling us to swim back to the shore.
That's
So that's how we did things back then, though. I think that's why we have such a tough skin. So if you did that to my kids, they would just drown. They wouldn't even fight.
No,
So-
because the person on the other side of the lake or river would call the cops on you and say, "Hey, they just tossed their kids in and
Yeah.
said, hey, learn to
But
swim."
back then, Grandpa's in a boat with us, drinking his beer, and there you go, swim back. I was a girl, so he got a little closer, but that was because I grew up with all my cousins. So I mean,
that's funny.
Grandpa, love you. My grandpa Joe Velasco, this one of the best people and humans in the whole wide world.
That's
He,
awesome. I love stories like that.
Yeah, he passed away when my son Jacob, he's 13 now. He passed away the year Jacob was born. So the younger boys never got to meet him, but oh my goodness, he was just the life of the party. And even when he got older and we had to cut him back from drink because he loved to drink his brandy or bourbon and stuff like that.
He's my kind of guy.
We're like,
You and I
hey,
got along.
Grandpa, no. If you left your drink down and you walked away, it was gone.
That's funny. That's funny.
We cut him off. That was Grandpa, though. That's just how he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you for coming. What a way to kick off our season, huh?
Yes.
Hey,
This
one
was-
last shout out though. Let's revisit these real quick. The Rockford Dolls,
Yes.
Rockford Dolls.
March 8th, at the Union Event Space
Yes.
at 112 North 2nd Street in Rockford, right there downtown, from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's $5. Hey, it says dress to impress.
Yes.
That means dress to the nines. Be ready. These girls are going to be out there showing off.
And
you know?
again, this is
They're
releasing.
performing too. They two of them sing. One of them is a dance choreographer, and one of them is a breaker.
Dang.
So they're all going to do showcases.
Ooh, a breaker.
Yeah, not that kind of breaker.
Oh, okay, never mind.
She's
And
a
not
dance
like
choreographer.
Not like the Australian break dancers, no.
No,
No,
Am I gonna go
good Lord, not
Should I go
her.
spin on the floor?
Yeah, so
Dude, that was probably the best part of the whole Olympic Games was the breakdancing. I loved it.
this is a good event for singles or if you want a nice date night. So that's how I'm pitching it. It's going to be all 90s and 2000 themed music, R&B, hip hop, dance music.
And shout out repping the state line. Let everyone know that you heard it from here. You know, we would really appreciate it. I know
Again-
you guys would enjoy it as well.
Again, this episode's dropping on March 7th.
March 7th,
so
1
this is
p.m.
tomorrow
Yes.
for those listening.
It is tomorrow.
Pay attention.
Get there. Pay attention. Take notes. And then we'll also
And
drop
George is going to drop this whole flyer in for all
Yep.
the
Put
events of
that on.
2025.
Yes.
There's some amazing stuff happening here.
You know what? We're going to commit right now that we're going to sponsor some part of one of these events.
Please do. Yes.
We're going to commit to that now.
Domingos en el Parque, I'm blessed to be a part of that group, and we have added one event to that series. So we have a summer series, and then we have our
I would love to do
Yeah.
the Soccer Bash Cup. I love soccer.
the Soccer Bash
Soccer's-
through Rockford Olympics. So all of our organizations have come
Yeah.
together so that we can help each other with our events. in any way possible. And this is a group of like-minded individuals that comes together to put on for our community. All of the events that you see besides the Dolls event are free community events. There is no admission charge.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, you're doing
Free.
doing some great work. We appreciate
Thank
you. The community, I know, appreciates you. Thanks for being on with us. Do all the YouTube things, podcasts.
Yes.
That's your line. Come on.
That's my line. Yes. Well,
Get
I didn't
on
know
it.
we were ready to do that yet. All right. So if you enjoyed this episode, then you must get on and do all the YouTubey things. You got to follow, you got to like, you got to subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
And then we will. Any last words you want to say before we say goodbye?
Thank you for having me on, and I cannot wait to tell everybody about Repping the State Line.
Let's go. See you guys in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.